Hello everybody, welcome again to my tech blog. I'm Preston Giles, and today I'll be covering a D&B forecast and prediction. Content list for today, so essentially we'll be covering the forecast analysis, risk avoidance, total quality control, Six Sigma, and a process analysis, as well as my conclusion. Up first is the forecast analysis. So, in recent years, D&B has continued to increase their net spend when it comes to operational expenses. And so much like Genoa in the early 2000s, D&B is spending more than it is pulling in, with operating at a net loss for the past 2 years and receiving, roughly a negative 600,000 in net revenue, with the operating expenses only increasing. It seems that D&B may be spiraling into a debt situation. And so much of this, I think, can be attributed to the lawsuit regarding the credit data that D&B provides and promises to be accurate to its customers. But as stated in the lawsuit, this was far from the case. This has, in turn, decreased the public's trust in D&B and their services worth. So risk avoidance, in order for D&B to avoid this continuing future of essentially falling more and more into debt as their operating income just continues to grow, the suggestion is to essentially reduce those operating expenses. And you can reduce those simply and easily just by analyzing products that you have on hand that maybe aren't performing so well, taking those off the market, and either reorganizing them as far as maybe making new products, or just continue to remove them altogether, and simply reducing those operating costs of keeping those products live for no reason. And so what this can do is essentially what I'm proposing, the most likely safest path is roughly just a simple 10% cut in the current operating expenses, which equals out roughly to around $160,000 a year. And this simple reduction could see D&B become profitable. From here, they would essentially focus on reducing unnecessary products to maximize on their revenue streams. And so this risk number 3 essentially has about a 40% probability. Total impact's only around 71K, which is actually less than the impact that they would see from doing nothing. And the growth here is exponentially better. For total quality control, so D&B can effectively implement Deming's 14 points by adopting a new philosophy of excellence for their customers. This philosophy will ensure that the company focuses on the quality, not the quantity of their services. As they begin this reduction, they can regain focus on those hard-hitting products and ensure that they deliver on their most core promises. As D&B has seen considerable loss in recent years, both in terms of revenue and in terms of customer support, it is important that the entire company knows that leadership is behind the company and committed to the change. And the change proposed here is essentially planning on reducing operational expenses through product realignment and analyzing those operating expenses. And then providing training and workshops for employees is important as well as the deep product analysis to ensure that you understand everything at play. And then always checking the risk analysis for each scenario to ensure that you're taking proper actions, or the safest path there. And then the action is just defining the future state and standardizing excellence and commitment. Coming into the Six Sigma and process flow analysis, essentially Six Sigma could be the delivery method to implement the TQC diagram from the previous slide. And in this way, D&B can implement one of the most well-defined and widely implemented frameworks of project management. And the process flow defined to the right here showcases the proposed solution. Essentially, you're defining the problem, and then so this would be the operating expenses needed to be reduced that we identified earlier, measuring that problem. So yearly detailed expense reports, just so you can see what products are surviving, what products aren't, what areas are costing us the most, and so on and so forth, and then analyzing that data, so identify the problem areas and or the highest cost areas and see which ones can take that cut, and then improve, so propose solutions to reduce those costs or remove problem products, essentially like we've already done, and then control, so continually reviewing the process to ensure that the project remains on track and that the intent of what we're trying to do here is pure and remains on track as well. So in conclusion, overall D&B has experienced a couple of fairly troubled years. They operate globally and they provide a product that businesses desperately need. However, I believe that they provide far too many products and that they are not delivering on them all the way that they should. And so for D&B to safely exit the tailspin that they currently find themselves in, they would need to reduce those operating expenses, reduce their non-successful products, and then by emerging into the newer markets that are up and coming and aiding in some of those hardest areas, they can maybe some of their competitors haven't gotten to yet. They can begin to create new insights and products tailored to meet those needs of the ones that they're going to be serving, and this can be accomplished through a change in philosophy of the company and leadership that believes in the change needed. And with a process defined in this PowerPoint and the ideas presented, D&B could not only become profitable again, but they could possibly even blow away their competition in these spaces. Thank you. And that is the end. If you'd like to hear more or see more, you can go and visit my blog. Thank you.